Peace and love, family. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I am your host, Queen Tamara of Astral Hill Arts Wellness Center. I want to say welcome on this lovely Wednesday and this beautiful summer solstice 2023. For those of you who are observing the summer solstice, may um, this season bring you lots of love, light, peace, and abundance and good health. And it's just a sacred time of year. This is known as the longest day, and the earth is receiving more sunlight today versus longer hours of sunlight today versus other days in the year. And so that is a time to reflect on the energy and the strength and the vitality that we draw from the sun and that we draw from our experiences here on this earth plane as we welcome this new season of summer. So happy summer solstice again. Happy summer. I hope that everyone is feeling wonderful today and feeling inspired and looking forward to this new season that is upon us. And so tonight's topic also, forgive me for being a little late, having some technical difficulties with the computer, so that's why I was running late today. But nevertheless, I'm on time and in time now. So, family, tonight we're going to be talking about shamanism and shamanic wisdom, and I want to help bring some clarity to what that is and dispel some of the myths and misconceptions around it. There's a lot of confusion and misinformation out there about what that is. A lot of people, this topic is shrouded in mystery for some people, or it's a taboo subject for others. Many people think that it's something, um, you know, primitive or sinister, something that's steeped in paganism. Some people, it's just so many misconceptions out there. And then some people think that this is something of in the past and it doesn't exist anymore because a lot of people feel like this is something that, ancient people did, but it does, it no longer exists. There's no one doing this kind of work, and which is not true. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. This is a topic that I often get asked about, and so I decided to do a show on it. And also, this time period that we're in, family, and there's so much spiritual awakening taking place on the planet right now, and it's this ascension that we're all going through as we're shifting to the new earth. So as a lot of people are ascending or awakening, it's a great awakening in consciousness that's been taking place for a few years now. So as people are awakening, they're awakening to new and greater spiritual abilities, and one is that of healing. We all have the capacity to heal, but there's a special category for people who do spiritual or energetic or vibrational healing. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I'm just very excited for tonight's topic. So shamanism is a word for an ancient spiritual practice that exists in many ancient cultures. Indigenous peoples around the world had a word for a person who did spiritual healing. And healing was seen as a spiritual art, a very special art. It's seen as the realm of the feminine arts because this is something that is women being the healers and the mothers and the nurturers. A lot of times healing is seen as a woman's domain or woman's art, or healing art. And in some cultures, women dominated as shamans. In other cultures, it was male dominated, or in some cultures, it was equally shared by males and females. Both were revered. And we all have the capacity to heal, but most of us, our first healer, our first nurturer was a mother figure in our life, whether it was a mother or a grandmother. And simple things like, nursing you back to health when you're ill, taking care of you when you're sick, um, putting a band-aid on the little boo-boos when you fall down and skin your knee or your elbow or something like that, giving you a hug, making you feel better. All of that is a form of healing as well. Knowing what herbs to prepare, or just different things to do when someone is ill to help bring balance back to them. All of that is a form of healing. And so this is an ancient practice that, like I said, goes back thousands of years, probably to the beginning of time. The word shaman is a word that comes from an indigenous language in Asia. And so it's been anglicized into the word shaman, because in the English language, we don't have a word that describes a person that does spiritual and energetic healing, which is what a shaman does. A shaman is, or some people, some cultures, they call them a medicine person, a medicine man, or a medicine woman. You may be familiar with that term. It's similar, the same thing, really. I know a lot of people think they're separate or they're different, but it's the same thing. It's the same science. It's a person who does energetic and vibrational and spiritual healing. Medicine means like energy or your power. And so a medicine man or medicine woman is like an energy, somebody that, uses source energy, spiritual energy, nature's energy to heal. And that's what a shaman does, essentially. So it's not some kind of spooky thing or anything like that. So in indigenous cultures, there was a person that could heal people in mind, body, and spirit, because we know as spiritual beings that we are spirit and having human experiences. And in order to heal, you have to get to the root cause of all illness or dis-ease. And by the time it manifests in the physical, it has already taken root in the spiritual. And so we know that one of the reasons why people take a long time to recover from illnesses or don't get better is because they're only addressing the symptoms and the physical aspect of the illness, and not looking at the root cause of it, the emotions or the energy in motion, the what's going on in their mind, what's going on in their spirit. Is this something that goes back to their childhood or past life? Is this an illness that they inherited through their bloodline or something like that? Or is it a learned behavior or something that's been passed down from generation to generation? All of that is something that a medicine person would take into consideration when they are performing healing with a person. So medicine people or energy healers or shamans help people heal. I consider myself one, and I've been told by others that's what I am. And we help people to heal themselves. It's kind of like we activate the switch, but the person is the power source. And so we don't necessarily take this ease away. Is to help you heal yourself and find the healing within yourself, because that's where it essentially takes place, within. And it starts with you, the person, wanting to be healed and acknowledging, oh, I have a issue or I have a problem and it needs healing. And that's how it begins. So we help assist you in the healing process. So my definition of a shaman is one who can access higher dimensions for the purpose of healing, because we know there's many, many, many dimensions out here. And a shaman or medicine person is someone that can look into the spiritual realm and the higher realms and tap into those intelligences and those energies and communicate with them, and for the purpose of healing. They also work with nature and the natural realm, which is so important and so very vital when it comes to any form of healing. I think many of us, when we start to get sick or have a disease, it really, we also um, are disconnected from nature. So when I talk to a person and they're telling me about the problems that they're having, one of the things I'll say is, when was the last time you went to the beach or a river, or when was the last time you were outside barefoot? So all of those things matter. Peace, Sister Happy Solstice. Yes, happy summer solstice. Ashe to you. Thank you, Monster Shannon. Good to see you. I know I haven't seen your name in a while. Blessings to you. Um, Let me see. So many people have healing abilities, but like I said, a shaman or a medicine person is one who can access those higher dimensions and those altered states. Different medicine people do different things. Some go into trance. Some are trance medium. Can do trance medium work when they do healing. Um, some, are able to allow entities to take over and speak through them. Some use different instruments. Most shamans use instrument, which is a form of sound healing, whether it's the drum, the rattle, um, Tibetan bowls, or things like that, or they use their voice. Um, Certain chants that they use. For example, if you're familiar with ayahuasca ceremony, ayahuasca ceremony is not just drinking the sacred herb, but there are also some songs and chants that accompany that. So that's another form of the sound healing that goes along with um, a medicine person or shamanic healing. So many people, like I said earlier, have healing abilities, but this is a very specific type of healing that we're talking about this evening, and being able to tap into and access the higher dimensions to help people heal. Believe it or not, we have many helpers. I know sometimes it may not feel like it, but we have many helpers. One of my mentors, she calls them councils. People have different names for them. Your councils, your soul family, or your spirit family, whatever you want to call them. And we have these helpers in the form of ancestors, and guardian angels, spirit guides. There's many helpers that we have that are beyond this physical realm, and to be able to work with them and communicate with them and listen to their guidance is a great blessing. All right. And so they also will assist us with the healing process. And a lot of us, when we are in a state of dis-ease and disharmony, we are not listening to them. We're not even listening to our own higher self and our own inner voices. And so all of that has to be tapped into and contacted and connected to bring it together. Um, Shamans use a variety of methods, song, in the form of, sacred songs, dances, chants, sound healing, like I said, herbal plant medicines, crystals, nature, water therapy, and different ways of summoning the spiritual realm, taking people and guided spiritual journeys. All of these things they do, and there's no single one method or one right way. You have to be flexible and do what is best for the person that you're working on, what they need most. And so I know in a lot of indigenous cultures, um, shamans have a very high role in the community. In some place, they have many different names too. So let me start with that. They have many different names. Some people call them sages. Some people call them mystics. Um, I met some from West Africa. They will call them marabou. Um, it's many different names, and they all essentially do some similar things, and they usually are held in high regard by people. And long ago, these were people that were consulted by kings and royalty as well, emperors, empresses. before they made important decisions, they would seek counsel for them. Um, they would get guidance and blessings from these people because their connection to spirit was highly revered and regarded. In a lot of ancient cultures, the tomb of the medicine person or the shaman was, grand and elaborately decorated. And people sometimes when archaeologists find it, they were like, was this person a king or a queen? But then when they study further, they'll find out this person was a shaman. But the way they were interred and honored was in a high regard. And then in some cultures, the medicine person lived separate from the rest of the people. They may have lived on a mountaintop, or in a cave, or just in a separate area, and they would come and commune with the people, on ceremonies or special, high sacred days like today's solstice or something like that. Or they would come amongst the people to conduct ceremony, to, participate in feasts or things like that. But sometimes they live separate from other people, from the rest of the community, the rest of the tribe, the rest of the, civilization or whatever. Some lived in temples or presided over temples, but everybody that's a priest or priestess is not necessarily an energy healer. It's slight, it's variations. In some cultures they're one and the same, and some they're not. But one thing that they all most had in common is their knowledge of using different tools for healing. When I say different tools, like the sound healing, sound therapy, the water therapy, herbal medicine, and some strictly perform certain duties. For example, some plant medicine practitioners who are medicine people, that might be their area of specialty, is administering the plant medicine or psychedelic medicines, or other special medicines for ceremony. That might be all that they do. That's what they were trained to do. And then you have others that have a wide variety of tools to pull from and to use when it comes to healing, and a wide variety of areas of expertise. Some use strictly a lot of sound therapy. I've seen ceremonies where they can use their voice to perform certain things. Others use their hands, laying on the hands. Some use herbal medicine as well as combined with song and crystal therapy or dance. It's different things. In some cultures, the medicine person wears a mask when they're in ceremony, or a special type of head covering. That I've seen a lot in a lot of indigenous cultures, especially places like Mongolia and some other cultures too. Also, some cultures in Africa. There's places where, and here in the Americas, some medicine people, when they're in ceremony, their face is covered from the rest of the community when they're conducting ceremony, particularly when they are communing with higher dimensions. Sometimes they wear special colors, special types of jewelry or crystals. That's all a part of, their regalia that they wear. And then in some cultures, they don't even have any special regalia. Some very simple. Some only wear white, live very simply. It just depends. It varies. And there's no single right way or wrong way, because it varies from culture to culture. These people are usually chosen to take on this role. Now, despite popular belief, there are some people out here who are call themselves training people to be a medicine person or to be a shaman, and this is usually something that is reserved for people who are chosen by spirit to take on this role. In some cultures, if you are a medicine person, it will be predicted before you're born. Your parents will be told by another medicine person usually, or it may come to a family member in a dream or a vision that this child, this unborn child is coming, is going to be a shaman or a spiritual healer, and how to prepare them for that role. That is how a lot of people um, get identified or diagnosed, is because before they were born, it was predicted or said that this was going to be their role. Um, and then some shamans, that's their specialty, is like being what I call a spiritual midwife, where they know the soul's incarnation objective before they're born or at this time of birth, and they can say, oh, this child is going to be this kind of person. um, this child has these abilities, they have to be prepared for that, and the parents are told, or the community is told, how to prepare their child for their ultimate destiny, because this is what their objective is when they chose to incarnate. So it's a choosing. You're chose for this role. Um, it runs deep in some families. There are some families that I have encountered where there's one person per every generation that has these abilities, or is strong in some families, and it's like past. It's almost like it's hereditary. But then other families, it may be just this one person that has these abilities. And because there's a lot of displacement in our modern world, and a lot of people don't know who their ancestors are or are discovering them. A lot of us don't know our bloodlines and don't know our lineages. So many of us do not know that we come from medicine people or long lines of healers. And so some of us, are discovering that. And this is something that, like I say, you're chosen for this role. The spirits choose you, or your ancestors, or your higher self, or whoever, they choose you, and you're giving this honorable title. Each of us has our own divine destiny, but there's a special, you know calling, if you will, when you're called to do this kind of healing work. um there are certain signs to alert you that that this is the path that's been chosen for you. You may, if this is your path, you may get a dream, or somebody else in your family, your mother or grandmother or someone, father, whoever, may dream about you doing this, or you may dream yourself about it. You may have a vision or a sudden insight, or other people may tell you, who are spiritually, evolved, that this is your role or your destiny. If you're someone that gets spiritual readings or seeks guidance from a spiritual practitioner, they can probably tell you that this is your role, or your incarnation objective, and you'll get signs. Some people get the signs and the message in their life, in their childhood, or before they're born, like I said. And some people will, some event will take place in their life, and then they'll find out. Um, it just depends. Everybody's different, and everybody's spiritual journey is different. So how you discover what your path and your role is may not look like another medicine person. So don't compare yourself to other people. Don't have any expectations. Just let spirit guide you. A lot of people ask me about my initiation, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. But initiation is very important, and everybody's journey to be a medicine person or to be a spiritual healer looks different. So how I went through it and how somebody else goes through it, it's not going to look the same. It's not going to be the same. And so, don't listen to people tell you, say, oh, well, you weren't only shamans or people who've been struck by lightning. That's not true, because some people who've been struck by lightning, they pass away instantly. So, they never fulfill that role. So I've heard people say things like that. Only if it's not this or that, is this and that, because like I said, there's no single narrative. It's different, and it looks different for everybody. Um, so you'll get signs to let you know that this is your path. You'll usually know and be, one of the signs is you've been chosen, is you'll have a miraculous um, surviving of an illness or an accident, or like I said, you'll be told in a dream or a vision, or someone else will be told in a dream or a vision, because sometimes spirit will speak through other people to let you know. Um, I know people have accidents every day, but you'll know when it's something that has been miraculously happened. Near death experiences are some of those examples. You hear stories about people who had a life of turmoil and then they had a near death experience, and it totally transformed their outlook on life, and their whole destiny changed, and they became a different person. They became more spiritual, um, more focused on being a better person or healing others, or suddenly something happened, they were ill, and spirit spoke to them and told them how to heal themselves, and then after that they discovered that they had healing abilities, and they start developing. So it just looks different for each person. There's no single narrative. um Elder shaman or somebody that's more experienced will come and guide you when you decide that you're accepting this role. You'll start meeting people, or if you were fortunate and your family knew that this was your destiny as a child, you probably were prepared early in life for this role. But others, such as myself, we had to get guidance from a more experienced shaman or mentor, or different teachers throughout your life, different spiritual teachers. um, Life itself has a way of teaching you, life experiences. So you'll go through that and you'll learn from different people. When the student is ready, the teacher or the master will appear, and that is so true. You can learn a lot of stuff from books, yes, and going to workshops, yes, very much so. However, the experiences you have is the greatest teacher always, and so we all need guidance to a certain level about development. um, and nature will do the rest and initiate you more. So the life lessons are really the greatest teachers. um, Most shamans, I would say all, have a deep connection to the natural world. We have a deep connection to spirit, the spiritual realm that we call nature, with the animals, the plants, the insect, the flora and the fauna. Um, just have a deep feeling of love and belonging and care for the natural world. Especially if you were someone that grew up and during your childhood you were just enchanted with the forests, the oceans, rivers, and lakes, or you had a special place in the woods that you like to go, or you found solace or um, peace in the nature realm. That's where you found your peace and your balance. Natural world feels natural to us, and it feels like home to you. And a lot of people tell me that they had a special tree or a special place that they will go that they just felt connected and soothed and balanced. Um, you'll have that special love and connection to animals, to the plant kingdom, to the insect kingdom, and the crystals. Everything in nature kind of resonates with you, and you just had a special bond with nature. It reminds me, the movie Avatar comes to mind. One of the things I liked about that movie was the special bond and reverence that they had for nature, the Navi people in on that planet. And so that's that will come naturally to you, and you also will find, if you're a medicine person, not only do you have a special bond with nature, you will um, be able to connect to different dimensions in nature, and nature is one of the best ways to help people with healing. um, Medicine people and shamans are naturally empaths. We can always feel, well, most of us feel what others are feeling. That's a natural ability with us. You can also feel what plants and animals are feeling and communicate with them. This helps in the healing capacity to know what a being is feeling and what is needed to heal them, especially when you're dealing with plants and animals, and sometimes people too, because sometimes people have issues and they really can't verbalize and communicate what it is that's bothering them. And so being an empath can help you in that process and help the other person that you're helping to heal, because sometimes people just don't know what's wrong, they just know something's wrong, and by you being sensitive and empathic, you can help them. um, you're able to know intuitively and go to the root cause of the disease and address the spiritual causes that they may not even be fully aware of. A shaman or medicine person will go through some sort of initiation. Initiation can be in different forms. Sometimes it's more formal ceremony with other medicine people. Sometimes you may be alone when you're going through it in the spiritual world. Um, some initiations take years of training. Some just a series of initiations and it's done. And like I said, some are more formal than others. It's a variety of methods and it just varies across cultures. But most medicine people will get guidance from one who is more experienced, and that person will be like a mentor or a guide to you and will assist you some of the way. The rest, you have to do. So you will all see that. Um, Let me see. Shamans work with a variety of healing methods. Some of what they do is called magic by others, because when they're observing it, and it just seems like it's beyond the defies the physical laws. Sometimes the stuff that they do, and it appears to be magic. So a lot of people would call them magicians or things like that. Sorcerers, whatever, different names for the same thing. But a sorcerer is one who works with source energy. A spiritual healing can give you miraculous results. Sometimes people come to a medicine person as a last resort. They tried everything else and they were near death, or their situation seemed hopeless, and then they tried spiritual healing and they just suddenly got miraculously better or had a spontaneous healing. And that's all because of the methods that they're using, and we're working with the mind, the body, and the spirit for complete healing. We use a variety of modalities to help you achieve balance, such as song, dances, drumming, other instruments, tools like crystals and herbs, or sacred spaces, or all the above, because all those tools together can help and assist with um, the healing. We use the elements like fire, water, air, earth, ether, crystals, which are a form of a manifestation of the earth energy, communication with non-physical entities, also employed to help people with healing, talking to your spirit guides and communicating with them or helping you to connect with them, your guardian angels, ancestors, etc. Your totems, helping you find your totem and to find your purpose. Also, that's another good thing that spiritual healers do, is to help people find their purpose. Many people don't know what their purpose in life is, and some people forget and lose their way because of trauma, PTSD, things like that, and we get distracted in this three-dimensional world, and we forget who we are and whose we are. We forget who we are and whose we are. And the spiritual healer can help you to regain that knowledge, to help you remember what your purpose is and why you're here. And if you're not following in the path of your purpose, to help you find that path. Sometimes we get distracted, we get lost, we get dazed and confused. We forget who we are or why we're here, or sometimes we think we know, but we go through certain events in our lives and we see that there's a great shift taking place, or a change, Change is always constant, and we see that we need to go down a different path now, or maybe the path that we thought we were on, maybe that was what others told us our life should be, and now we're wanting to step into our own sense of self and discover who we are and live from our own purpose and not the desires of others. So a spiritual healer can help you with all of that. Some use just energy and laying on of hands healing. Some use primarily medicines, herbal medicines, things from the earth. And some use sound to change frequency. So it's so many different things that you can use when it comes to shamanic healing. So are there any questions? We have a few minutes. Um, if anyone has any questions that need to be answered or that you are curious about. And if not, all right. Hopefully, I hope this was very helpful in answering some of your questions. I know I get a lot of questions about spiritual healing and the role of medicine person, or if you think you are someone that has that um, special ability or destiny. I hope this was very helpful. Thank you, everyone. May you continue to have a wonderful summer solstice and a beautiful summer, and abundant summer season. May you be surrounded by and filled with love, peace, abundance, good health, and happiness. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for all of your support. I have one little announcement. Starting next week, the Healing Cipher show. King Ade and I are the hosts of that show. We are no longer on the Plugged In Radio Network. We are going to be streaming the Healing Cipher show from my YouTube channel on Monday, um, the 26th, 7 p.m. So the same time we had the other show on Plugged In Network, we're going to have it here on Astral Healing Arts channel, 7 p.m. live on Mondays. Adina View, thank you, beloved. Thank you for joining. Um, I appreciate all of you, your love, your support, just the words of encouragement that I get from you all is such a blessing to me. It's just very, it just brightens my day. It really does, to hear that people are enjoying the show and giving me positive feedback from it. So thank you all, and I will look forward to seeing you all next time. Peace and love.